Progress Radio and Television. I am Umar Ahmad Abubakar, and today on the program we will be looking at food security in Nigeria and efforts by government and non-governmental organizations to support Nigeria's food security. Recently, the World Food Program, the WFP, has committed the sum of over $2 billion to support Nigeria in fighting hunger in the next 5 years. And as I said, this is coming as government at all levels are trying to also support the food security in the country. Recently, the federal government has rolled out palliatives to states due to the removal of fuel subsidy. This is what the program Viewpoint will be discussing this morning. And I have with me in the studio Dr. Abubakar Sani Abdullahi, an agricultural economist, a lecturer from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Doctor, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Malam Umar. Thank you for having you this morning.
Okay, Doctor, before we go into this support by the World Food Program, what is the current stage of Nigeria's food security?
So, Alhamdulillah, first of all, when you are talking of food security, you have to put into consideration whereby each and every member of any given household is having access to sufficient, affordable and quality food that meets up with his dietary requirements. So sufficient food supply to the populace is very, very critical. The last report that we had for August under this World Food Program, it is showing that virtually in these northeastern states, more than 47% of the population are food insecure. When you consider the entire country, virtually almost 70% of the Nigerian population are food insecure. That is the scenario for now.
Okay, with this scenario and the report by the WFP, it is now saying it will come to the aid of Nigeria with the support of $2.5 billion in the next 5 years. How do you look at this support?
Yeah, food availability is very, very critical, especially in this point in time. Having access to food supply by each and every household member is very, very important, as we made mention. When you take into consideration the persistent increase in the population, going by the prices of agricultural commodities, virtually the prices has gone up with over 200% increment. So for each and every household to meet up with its own dietary requirements, there must be an affordability and availability of foodstuff at all level, from local, regional, national level. So these people came to Nigeria for quite a number of years to give support. That was why the program is assigned in phases to take up from the first year down to the 5th year. So the expectation is that there is going to be a provision of 500 million USD for each and every year, whereby food items is going to be secured. I know by this time around they have already started collaboration with Afex Commodity and other supporting grain services. So for now, going by the persistent increment in the price level is a result of insecurity per se. Let me just give you an example. Highest producer of millet and sorghum normally comes from the northwest and north central of the country. But most others of Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, even as at this morning they were bitterly complaining. They were supposed to start harvesting their agricultural produce, but they have no access to the farmland. Already bandits have already assigned some token of amount, like for a community to cultivate or to harvest their millet farmland. they had to contribute 3 million to 4 million naira to
Which
the
will
bandits.
further make it impossible.
It will make it very, very impossible. And not only in Katsina State, even in Zamfara State this morning, they reported that for them to start harvesting their millet, they had to contribute almost 7 million naira just from a single village.
To the bandits.
To the bandits. I have heard of a farmer that is even saying that he has to just abandon it. Where will he source for this money?
After putting
so much effort. So when these things are happening, they do consider which area or which part of the country has produced most commodities. Then pressure will start mounting on that axis. That was why we are even suggesting that we are even calling the attention of the government that let's look at the scenario of this wet season. We shouldn't bear it in mind that the prices of agricultural commodities will come down, because pressure from northwest, north central has started emanating here to
the northeast,
to the northeast, to just mop away our millet and sorghum, and this is part of their priority crops. As we are taking maize or rice as staple food crop, in their own axis, millet virtually is the staple food crop, whereby each and every household member is taking.
This is not the first time of intervention from WFP.
Yeah.
Is there or were there any impacts in the previous ones?
So when we are taking over this World Food Program, virtually people have to know that they are the largest organization that supports food supply globally. Is a subsidiary of the United Nations, also a department of under FAO, that is Food and Agricultural Organization. I know from January to last month, August, they had fed over 180 million people globally. And they are operating in more than 161 countries. Just last month, food distribution has taken over or has taken place in almost 6 states of Nigeria as a component of this component of this program. Yobe were part of the beneficiaries, Adamawa and also Borno. Then going to the north central or northwest, Katsina, Sokoto and Kebbi were also part of the beneficiaries. So having known that this World Food Program, they are the largest organization that came to support food distribution globally, especially in areas of emergencies, climate change mitigation. So their primary effort is to mitigate hunger, to ensure that each and every household member is having sufficient and access to food supply at all the time.
Okay, already when he met with the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, the head of this delegation that pronounced this intervention, said already over 2 million Nigerians have been captured. And then you also said that already the WFP has started, or even a few months back, there were distributions in some northeastern states and the north central. These over 2 million people that were captured to benefit from this, there are some allegations that on state governments that they are politicizing the
distribution program.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, whenever it comes to this kind of a program, I know what they normally do is that they have already conducted their household survey, mapping out the target beneficiaries. The plan was that 2.1 million people are going to benefit for the first year. And the mapping was conducted in such a way that each and every local government across the 744 local governments or 774 local governments that we are having, there are some target beneficiaries attached to it. So the first tranche of disbursement is going to be for these 2.1 million target beneficiaries. And the package is designed in such a way that whatever is being given to a household, it is going to take it to a period of 1 year. This food items is going to meet up with its own dietary requirements. All the nutrients that are needed are there in terms of calorie requirement, protein requirement, and carbohydrate requirement, and so on and so forth. So their target now, the first component of the beneficiaries are going to be 2.1 million people, whereby 3 daily meals is going to be ensured in that package, and it is going to take them up to 1 year. So their plan is to make it at a local government level, whereby their representatives in collaboration with other securities agents or agencies and other government officials are there. So they are trying to make it from the grassroots, because when you are talking of food security, you have to start it from the scratch. Where are the axes, where are the regions, where are the villages, or where are the areas that are not even having access to this food? Where are the areas whereby insecurity has sufficient has suffices in that area, and people are not even able to access their farmland? Their productivity has declined, their output has declined. So the target areas are such kind of areas that will become the first component of the beneficiaries.
Apart from this distribution of food to beneficiaries, I don't have time to look at the component of the support. Don't you think there should be a support under this program to local farmers to increase their productivity?
Yeah, the entire amount set aside for the program, that is the 2.5 billion naira, is not everything that is going for food distribution. All this government program, conditional cash transfer, is from this World Food Program.
Okay, it's a support from
it's a support from this World Food Program.
Because if you look at it, what they plan to spend is more than
virtually 60 to 70% of the money allocated is going directly. Collaboration will be made with grain suppliers. They have their access in supplying commodities, even if there is ban in the country. So they do have their own waiver or clearance from the government to import what they are going to supply or distribute to the humanity. So component of the money set aside or budgeted for the program is going to be assigned to this conditional cash transfer. And there is even this school feeding program. It's coming from World Food Program. Whatever money that is being generated or that is being taken.
Doctor, can we say the country, Nigeria, is budgeting anything for the agricultural sector? Because this support or intervention over $2 billion, and looking at this year's budget, just 1% of the entire budget, and looking at this support, then one will begin to ask, what is Nigeria spending for the sector?
We are not serious per se, sorry to say. With all these collaborations that are coming, with all this support, this is 1/10 of all the supports that are coming. So had it been that more attention or more concern is being given to agriculture, all this money that is coming for the purchase of food and the distribution of food will have gone to other areas. By this time around, we shouldn't have been discussing of waiting for other bodies to be coming in to support us with food distribution. Though recommendations was given by the government, I think last 2 years, that any kind of program that has to do with food distribution, there are areas, especially those inhabitable areas whereby farmers were displaced. Farmers have started relocating back to their areas. If part of the support could be the provision or the securing of agricultural input, would have been much more better for the normalcy to return and a quick recovery in terms of their livelihood. So I know definitely some components of the money will be allocated to the securing of agricultural inputs, especially fertilizer, agrochemicals, and other seeds to be given to the farmers. Because when you are talking of how to people to attain food security, it's not by making the provision of foodstuffs only. You have to support the entire farming population. You have to give all the necessary support to the agricultural sector. So I know definitely there are so many components attached to this program.
Okay, Doctor, before we go to for a short break and go back to our viewers and listeners, why is it that always the attention is at the government at the center? What are states and local governments doing? Do you think they are giving this sector the priority it deserves?
You know, the state governments have taken over all the powers. That was why the local government is no longer having any power. And the state governors or the state government to some extent are also answerable to the federal government. So that was why, had it been that this kind of a package, the design was to be channeled directly to the local level without even the intervention of the state government. It has to be meant for the local communities. All it's needed from the state government is to give its mandatory support and the security cover to ensure that whatever is going to the right channel. But the design for the program is to be directly channeled to the local government. So since there is no any power or autonomy to the local government, we shouldn't expect it that it will be handed over or it will be managed.
So you are also of the opinion that
we cannot achieve anything.
If the local governments are
yes, had it been that to some extent the local government are having their own power.
And then if you look at all these farmers and farming activities we are talking about,
they are
the
grassroots. And the local government is even more closer to the people. So had it been that they are having some elements of autonomy, all these issues wouldn't have been arise.
Okay, thank you very much. Listeners and viewers, if you are just joining us, the program is Viewpoint, coming to you from Progress Radio and Television. And today we are discussing on food security and support from the World Food Program. That said, it is supporting Nigeria with over $2 billion dollars. And we've been discussing this with an agricultural economist in the person of Dr. Abubakar Sani Abdullahi from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. We will be going on a short break. When we come back, we will open our phone lines for you to call and be part of our discussion. Stay tuned.
Rising to the top. We are Nigeria. We keep soaring in the sky. Nigeria. Fly eagles, fly to victory. We are Nigeria. We are champions. We are kings. We are Nigeria. There's no height that we can't reach. We are Nigeria. We keep rising to the top. We are Nigeria. We keep soaring in the sky. Nigeria. Fly eagles, fly to victory. Rising to the top. We are land of iron and of gold, agriculture, oil and gold, assets that we own, round the world our name is known. Nigeria, my beloved country, working together is the key.
Welcome back. The program is Viewpoint, coming to you from Progress Radio and Television. And today we are discussing on food security and support from the World Food Program, that is saying it is supporting the Zero Hunger Program of the federal government with over $2 billion dollars in the period of 5 years. And we've been discussing with Dr. Abubakar Sani Abdullahi, an agricultural economist from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. It is now time for you to call and be part of our discussion by calling 07036953846 or the number on the screen of your television. 07036953846 or the number on the screen of your television. Please, whoever calls should make his contribution snappy to give other people chance to also make their contribution. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Malam.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Umar Kurama.
You are welcome to the program.
Yeah, welcome. I'm welcoming Doctor to your studio.
Thank you very much.
Well, our major problem is, I think, our leadership is a kind of a liability to Nigerians. There is no policy that has not been put in place in the last 30 years about diversification of the economy towards the agricultural economy sector. Unfortunately, none had yielded any result. And we have been turned. The size of population, the mass land of the country, the body of waters that we have, we still been rendered, we're not thinking, we're not been allowed to think on our own. So we've been enslaved, and the policies that are turned out, or the money that is made, were made to turn into a dependent nation rather than independent nation. Look, you have 811 layers of government. They all get money. There are policies. NALDA just last about 2-3 years back. NALDA had launched an agricultural farmhouse, what they call farmhouse estate in Daura. It started and ended there. No state had been taking serious attention towards what is the benefit of having that kind of a program in our states. It could have been, narrowed down into a very smaller and compact size of the local government should be able to do it. Like in Gombe here, the body of water from the dam of Dadinko down to Gombe Abba, you have 4 local governments. You have about 4 or 5 local governments that are living there in the fringes of that river. You could borrow this kind of a thing. You could develop that kind of a thing and put it there. Ask people to go there and explore the places and use the river fringes of that river, Gongola.
Fly, eagles fly to victory.
Whatever what we want. So the issue of food security, we are only looking for the money the donor countries outside that will give Nigerians, and we are corrupt inside out. So when you bring this money, some of us are in a position of authority. We just corner the money. Nothing will happen.
Okay, thank you, Alaji Marugurama. Let's give other people a chance to also make their contribution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you with your contribution. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we've lost that call. 07036 953 is a number to call and be part of our discussion. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mala. Good morning, Mala Omar.
Good morning.
Morning, my name is Sasaji. I'm calling from Kumpula. Welcome you again on the platform.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let me begin by the statement credited to Mr. President when he came on board by declaring state of emergency on food security. I will say that is a misplaced of priority. You could have declared state of emergency because the farmers can no longer go to farm. And you are declaring emergency, state of emergency for food security instead of insecurity. I think and I believe something must be done in that regard. And one of the governors here in the north tell us categorically that almost all the silent complex we have in northern Nigeria has been leased to some other companies. That means the federal government is no longer selling food for its citizenry. And we just talk on paper without seeing anything on the table. I think and I believe the politicians should stop politicizing this issue of food security in Africa generally, not talk about Nigeria. And the money given should be checkmated and make sure this has been delivered according to what the Western world or the World Bank whatsoever are giving us a reason, not just to use it as a political gain. And just like you just mentioned, everything has been politicized. The issue of palliative, the issue of giving something has been politicized, and that should not stop. We should not reach to the conclusion
Thank you very much, Mr. Sazi, with your contribution. The number to call is 070-36953846 or the number on the screen of your television. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is
Isa Gambo, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much.
We listen to what the doctor is just saying. Even the recently we had the Mr. President that also mentioned the issue of food security, how they are going to help Nigerians. We have had all this program, everything saying. But mine is that I want to tell doctor that all these services they are bringing to Nigeria will not help Nigeria. They are just doing it, and then at the end of the day, the Nigerians, the policy will not reach to the reality of the people. Those that are supposed to get it are beneficial. But what I am always doing or advising Nigerians, even they are not as economic, why Nigerians, instead of this putting this money, why are not buying the food so that they will sell the food in a lower price? The Nigerians will get all this food. We are Nigerians, since we know that we cannot get this money, so let's control the price. Why are we not controlling the price? Why Nigeria cannot control the price of commodities in the market so that we can get the money in the lower price? Yesterday, I had somebody selling the maize, the maize 500 naira. We just assume that this account people are running to buy the food because it's selling in a lower price. So I'm advising Nigerians, everything that helps Nigerians is to control the price of the commodity. Instead of this, we have the millions of naira putting in this kind of policy. Honestly, will not make the matter. So that's why I'm sorry to say that because we Nigerians have suffered a lot.
Yeah.
So if there is any strategy when it comes to use to help Nigerians in terms of controlling the price of commodity, we are welcoming that policy. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, Isa, with your contribution. We will take a few more calls before we come back to Dr. to maybe respond to some of the issues raised by our callers. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning for the doctor.
Good morning.
I appreciate all the best for the program.
Thank you very much. We also appreciate you being with us on the program. We'll take a call before we come back to Dr. 07036953846 or the number on the screen of your television. The numbers to call and be part of our discussion. Maybe, Doctor, before we get another call, our callers raised some issues. Let's start with the last one.
Yeah.
Is it possible to control price in Nigeria?
Yeah, it is very, very possible. The government has to reintroduce the commodity boards. Some years back, we do have these commodity boards that
Okay, sorry. Let's take our last call.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Anas Bada. I'm calling from Kashiri.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Quickly, what is your
Doctor, I have a
contribution?
question. Do you think that the day in day out increment of our population is being contributing to make our food to be scarce in this country or no? This is my question to the guest.
Okay. Okay, Doctor. We are talking about price control.
Yeah.
Then maybe you can add it with the increase in population.
Okay. So concerning the price control is very, very crucial to have price stability when it comes to agricultural commodities, because when you are talking of food security, affordability is there and availability is there. For a household to afford that foodstuff, there must be a stable price or a fixed price attached to that commodity. Some years back, 20 to 30 years back, we have the National Agricultural Commodity Boards. They have the mandate of regulating and having price control over all the agricultural commodities, especially those that has to do directly with household food security. So we are hoping, we are also advising the government, even at local, at state and at the national level, under the State Ministry of Agriculture or the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, that we have to introduce these commodity boards so that they will take over the mandate of controlling and regulating prices of agricultural commodities.
Okay, then last, our caller Anasa, he's saying is increasing population also contributing to the situation we are?
Yeah, increasing in population is contributing, but had it been that people are having access to enough capital to farm, we have so many countries that are more populous than Nigeria, but they are food secured. It depends on the level of commitment by the government. Let there be an avenue where farmers are having enough access to their farmlands, they are having enough access to agricultural loan or zero interest loan.
Okay, on this point you are raising now, let's put together two contributions by our callers. Lazumar Gurama that said there were no policies, good policies that were not designed in this country. The implementation is the issue. Governments have been talking of diversification. Do you think there is any effort to diversify the economy towards agriculture?
What my brother or my father has just said is very, very true. All the policies that is attached to every component of agricultural sector has been there in place, but the leadership, first of all, attitudinal change has to be there in place. Commitment by our leaders has to be there. Zero or free corruption has to be there, because what is basically happening is that corruption has taken over everything in the sector. Anything that is going to be beneficial to the humanity, if any leader is not getting any percentage or commitment, he will not give his level of commitment to that. So all the policies are designed, and by this time around, as one person has rightly said, all these donor agencies shouldn't have been here in Nigeria. We should have attained food security. All our silos must be provided with and stocked with foodstuff ahead of the unforeseen circumstances.
Yes, on these silos you just mentioned, our caller, Mr. Saji, also said a governor has said in this country that all these silos are not longer...
I have said it on different occasions because I am a witness. Take this, for instance, Gombe silo. It has been leased for 10 years to flour mills of Nigeria.
So where is the government storing all this food?
There is no any storage facility for the government. The government purchases agricultural commodities only when there is emergencies. That was why at a point in time they are even part of the contributing factors that keeps increasing prices of agricultural commodities in the market. Had it been that there is a level of commitment by the government warehouses on all these silos being made into functional use, we shouldn't have been complaining of all this sort of things. But no silos. Out of the silos that we are having in the country, virtually 99% of them were leased out to individuals or to companies.
And then don't you think it will make Nigerians to lose confidence? Because there is no linkage between what we will say Nigerians have lost confidence on government.
Sincerely speaking, the people have lost confidence in the government because a person cannot have access to 3 square meals or cannot even have access to 2 square meals. A person could not fight his hunger. He could not meet up with his daily needs. So it is quite unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate. The government had to adjust and take back to reality.
Let's talk of this issue of this security. A caller also said, Mr. President, when he came on board, he said he declared a state of emergency on food security
instead of the security.
How is this affecting?
When you are talking of food security, we hope the government needs to understand that food availability or abundance makes a nation partly secured, especially when it comes to social security. But the life and livelihood of people becomes under threat when that privilege is absent. People could only access their farmland if there is security. Let me just give you an example. Just take this, for instance, Malam Sidi, where we have the is it safe corridor? All those farmland across that axis could not produce or could not plant tall crops. People around that axis could not plant either maize, sorghum or millet. Anything because of the height. They had to only plant either soya beans, groundnut. And when you visit so many places across Yobe, Maiduguri, they are experiencing that thing. So you are talking of staple food crops. People have no access to planting because of the issue of security. Before you access your farmland, a tax has to be mandated for you by the bandits. Before you harvest your commodity, token amount has to be fixed on you. If you, after harvesting, a certain portion of what you have harvested has to be taken back, and the securities are just there. So before we can say that people should have confidence in the government to access their farmland, security is a priority. Security is basically needed, because you could not have anything, you could not achieve food security when the security, the protection of lives and livelihood is there. When you have fear of attacks when you visited your farmland, there is no how you could access your farmland. It has to be abandoned for a number of years.
Okay, now as farmers already have started evacuating their farm produce, what is your forecast after this harvest in terms of food security?
I do advise of recent that sincerely speaking, this year we are going to experience a high rate of theft of agricultural commodities at farmland level. Any crop that is matured enough for harvesting, the owner of the crop or the owner of the farm has to put security provision in place, because people have already started stealing farm produce. So going by the season, I have interacted with almost 1,000 upland farmers that are, we call them in Hausa Shinkafan Tudu. Basically 95% of those that planted upland rice has failed drastically. So in terms of rice, I pity our farmers. We pray to Almighty Allah to come to our aid.
So there will be increase.
There will be the scarcity is emanating. Just yesterday, I received 2 different companies from Lagos that visited here Gombe, just to see where they can start sourcing for a paddy rice.
And it's nowhere to be found.
It's nowhere to be found. Almost the same thing with our maize. The maize has fell drastically. So we are to expect high prices. The price. And
then lastly, don't you think there should be maybe good programs to protect this, even with the little yield, post-harvest losses? How can we reduce this?
We basically, for us to reduce these post-harvest losses, there are provisions that we do normally do. First of all, the government has to come to the farmers' aid. Then secondly, we shouldn't allow those that are coming in to mop out our grains to be in our state for a while. We have to ensure that what is the level of commitment have we met, and what is the level of output have we achieved in terms of productivity. Then secondly, we have to make provision that this insect pest and diseases that are causing damages to our crops, the government has to be there in place, because we experience of recent that some parts of Bauchi states, some bats are coming into just finish farms that has to do with millet or beans. Then secondly, for those that are into cowpea production, we are having provision of this storage bags, whereby insect pest cannot penetrate. We call it triple bagging. So all these things can be put in place so that at least the farmers will know that they have something at a reasonable.
Okay, finally, Doctor, what is your take on topic of discussion?
Yeah, basically this 2.5 billion naira that is going to be made available to the Nigerian populace, first of all, our leaders should fear the Almighty Allah. I know these international donor agencies are doing their own best, but wherever you are thinking, Nigerians are very different. Let it be beneficial from the grassroots level. The people in the rural areas are really suffering. Take this program to reach out to the rural people, especially the farming household. And when it comes to this cash transfer, then beneficiaries should also be part of that, because
in short, maybe in summary, it shouldn't be politicized.
It shouldn't be politicized. It shouldn't be politicized. Let the target beneficiaries and the real beneficiaries benefit out of it.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Listeners and viewers, that's much we can take on the program Viewpoint, where we've been discussing on Nigeria's food security and support from World Food Program that is coming to the aid of Nigeria with over $2 billion to support the fight against hunger in the next 5 years in Nigeria. And we've been discussing with Dr. Abubakar Sani Abdullahi, an agricultural economist from the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. Doctor, thank you very much for being part of our discussion this morning. And listeners and viewers, that's much we can take, as I said. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Umar Ahmad Abubakar saying thanks for being there.
Champions, we are kings. Rise into the top.